welcome to my channel. This is Abstract My Perspective and I am Brio RaShawn. And what is good? So before we get into today's video, which is all about my favorite fashion inspiration type shows, we need to handle some business, and that business being I need me and you to link up. First of all, subscribe. And then also click the bell. That way you know every single time I post, and I will spill some tea and let you know that it is every Sunday, but still, that'll be a reminder so you can't say you forgot. Also, I have an Instagram. Hopefully you have an Instagram. Let's link up. Let's talk about all things vintage, all things fashion. Okay, now that we've done that, let's get into this video. Okay, so I'm really inspired by a lot of old films, old TV shows, old magazines, like all of that type of stuff. I get really inspired by that. But I wanted to talk about today like some of these characters. Now, of course, I could mention the most famous ones and the most famous movies and the most famous women, like the Marilyn Monroes and the Audrey Hepburns and the Katharine Hepburns and the Cary Grants, the Carrie Bradshaws. But I kind of wanted to talk about people that probably don't get the same notoriety as like a Carrie Bradshaw for their fashion that really inspired me. And I think if you don't know about them and you find this video and you find them, I feel like you'll be like, oh wow, that is super cool. Or if you know them, you'll definitely relate and be like, oh yeah, like they style was super cute. So first of all, I want to start off with a show that really was my first college experience and really just taught me like how to be adorable and cute and classy and fun and just cool. And that show is A Different World. A Different World ran for a very long time, but it basically was a spinoff of The Cosby Show, and the fashion in that is wonderful. And it started out being about one of the characters from The Cosby Show by the name of Denise. She goes to college. She goes to a HBCU. If you don't know what a HBCU is, it's a historical black college. So she goes there, and it's very dope. And Denise's character really inspired me. I watched her on The Cosby's. I grew up in her fashion. Was always the child that had like the different type of fashion. Like she was kind of artistic and not really great at school, so she had like this underline of like just fashiony, artsy kind of vibe in all of her clothes. Even her like chill clothes was comfortable and cool and just like cute, and I just loved her. But then she ended up leaving the show. They did not stop the show. They actually introduced me to one of my huge fashion style fairy godmothers, and her name is Whitley Gilbert. Her real name is Jasmine Guy, and Whitley is she made me love everything about everything. Like her hair was always beautiful, her makeup was always pretty, but her clothes, her fashion was so beautiful. And I have to admit that like I was so inspired, and before I went to college I went through like a Whitley phase, I feel like, where I started to want to wear like a lot of blazers, and I just was like into colors, and it was just like so beautiful. And I love it because it was a little feminine and like classy. And then as she got older and her life and experiences changes, she got a little bit more saucier with her wardrobe, and then she dialed it back, and she just was elegant and beautiful. And then you had another character named Freddie. Her character was like a hippie, so she had some really dope pieces too that were just like hippie-ish and like cool and just like different. But you know, one of the bigger impacts besides Jasmine Guy for me was when this freshman came to Melbourne. Her real name is Jada Pinkett. It was before she was a Smith. And baby girl was fine, okay? And what I mean by fine is that she could wear anything. And honey, did she wear anything. Like some of her best outfits was just her just doing the things. And looking back on it, like her character really embodied just like the TLC, the Aaliyah, crisscross, like the whole baggy jeans, Tommy Hilfiger vibe. She really like gave off that, you know? And then she had like the edge, and she just was just all the things that I loved about it, and I love that show. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, try Netflix, try Hulu, try Amazon, but please watch A Different World because it is fantastic and you will forever be changed. Also, shout out to the guys because they always wear dope sweaters. Dwayne was always kind of fire. I just thought he had like really cool fashion moments. Like he had the pop-up glasses moment. Like he just was real so cool. And his best friend Ron also had his moments with the haircuts and the things, and they continue as they grew up to be really, really dope and really, really fun. So next show, listen, Golden Girls is like my favorite show of all time. Like, I love them. So, as you can see, that was very dramatic, but I love these women. First of all, let's start off with the fact that this show is about 4 women that live in this house together. They're all old, and they're living their best life, and they live in Miami, Florida. So, that show was beautifully written, and there was no plot holes in my opinion. It's flawless. It's about 4 women being independent and living life after their 40s. Like, I don't exactly know how old they're supposed to be, but I believe they're like 50 and up. So first of all, Sophia, the shadiest queen ever, she carries this like bucket basket bag around, and this bag is so beautiful. I literally almost bought one yesterday that looked not identical, but it's very, very similar. That gave me a vibe. I loved it, and I'm probably going to eventually get that bag because that bag was super, super cute. And it just now reminded me of Sophia, and now I need it. So Rose, I liked that she wore really cool bright colors. Like, she wore like subtle pastels, like yellows, and she just wore like the mom dresses, and I want to dress like that. Like, it reminded me of like the 40s. She's from a place called St. Olaf, so she just lives life differently, and she dresses really, really cute in my opinion. Like, I just loved all the things that she wore. Now we're on one of the queens for me. Her name is Dorothy. I love Dorothy. Dorothy was smart. Dorothy's just like beautiful and wonderful, and I love her clothes because I'm a tall-ish girl, and so she just always wore things that made her look even longer. Like, she just didn't care, and she just had the best second layers. I'm a coat girl, I'm a jacket girl, and I felt like Dorothy always came through with a fire jacket. Like, I just feel like there was never a moment where she wasn't in a fly jacket in that freaking show. That brings me to the hoes of hoes, the sluts of sluts, the queens of queens, the queens of all things. Blanche Devereaux, Southern Peach. She is freaking fire because she literally was the queen of the pantsuit, but like the sets, you know what I'm saying? Like, she would have like the blouse and the pants, like everything would match. She also was the girl with the jewels, like the beaded gowns that I love, that I want to wear with sneakers. Like, she definitely had that part hands down. And so those women I love. I love their friendship. I love their theme song. I love the lessons that you learn in each episode. And most of all, I love their fashion. So obviously that is the show. That is the thing. That is the love. I freaking love it. Brings me to another show that is from the 90s, and it is called The Nanny. So first of all, The Nanny is about this girl that is from Flushing. She used to sell cosmetics. She gets basically asked to be a babysitter forever, a nanny, and to move in with this bachelor and his 3 kids. First of all, he's fine. So hello, hi, I will be your nanny, and I will also be your wife. Now, not 7 seasons later. Anyway, her fashion, like literally she wore like anything print and beautiful. She might have also slipped in a little bit of Versace in there. Just like, she was basically Carrie Bradshaw before Carrie Bradshaw in a lot of ways, of just wearing a lot of big, vibrant, colorful, cool designers. The difference between her and Carrie is that Carrie was cool about it. She was fashionable and she was like praised for what she wore, and Fran was kind of like, it was like the girl that dressed out there. So like, they didn't really think that it was the elite because they were in theater, so they wore like suits and things, and so she was just like this girl that wore suits, but they were vibrant, and she had colorful stockings, and everything was just bright because she wore a lot of Moschino. So like, very Jeremy Scott, but before Jeremy even got there. Like, just very Andy Warhol was her wardrobe, like 90% of the time. So when you think of Fran, you think color, you think bright, and you think tight. Everything was very fitted around her little body. For to be a thin girl, her body was sexy, you know, it was really cute. And then you had the other woman on the show, and her name was Cece Babcock, and Cece wore the Chanels, she wore the Saint Laurent. Like, she was, you know, she was, yes, tailored, honey, and everything about her outfit was really cute, and I loved it. And I love the contrast of those 2 women because they, in a way, were kind of fighting for the same guy. And Fran was my favorite for her color and her vibrance and her edge, and Cece was my favorite for the fact that she wore tailored, and as that character grew, so did their style choices, but it was still very much there. And I also love that it was just a cool contrast. Fran's mother was kind of out there as well, and wore really dope fashion. And so that brings me to late 90s, I believe, where I found Cher and Dion, and they're so cute. So Cher and Dion are from a movie called Clueless. It's about two girls that are in high school that are like in 10th grade, I guess, 10th or 11th grade. They are just rich. They live in Beverly Hills, and it's the nicer version of what I feel like Mean Girls could be based on. Like, it gives you that vibe, but this is like popular girls that probably are mean, but then also aren't, that kind of thing. Because Cher was just above everything, and I was that kind of girl that liked girls that were just kind of like, high school's gonna end and none of this is gonna matter. She was kind of that, but her fashion was dope and her stuff was dope, and she was very entitled and very rich, but she was like cool. Like, she would try to give back. She also would try to do it to get dates, but it's fine. Who hasn't? But she was just dope, and I love the plaids. I love how it was like kind of Catholic private school, but then they would still wear what they wanted. I love that they loved to shop. I love that she had her and then her best friend Dion, which was a black girl that had really cute braids, which I thought was really cute. And she was just herself and very cool and different, and wore stuff that Cher would never wear, but it was still very fashionable and it was still very her. So it was really, really dope, and I really, really loved the both of them together and like their style and just their vibe. So I still love plaid to this day because of them. Like, I just do. So those are like for sure the shows that like inspire me when it comes to like fashion and style. And the thing I like about all of them is that they can wear a pantsuit, but then they also can wear something sexy. I like that they just were always themselves, and each character, when I watch shows, I love to see how the character evolves, and especially when it is intentionally or not intentional about fashion. I just love that. And then there's another show that is about fashion, but they don't really inspire me style-wise that much. It's called Absolutely Fabulous. It used to air on BBC. It was on Netflix for a very long time, and now I think it's like on Amazon Prime or something. But Absolutely Fabulous is about two friends that like basically do a lot of drugs. They're older women. The lead character, she's a PR agent, and her best friend is an editor at a magazine. They never go to work. They party all the time. She acts like LA person, like the new trend she has to do it, the new drink she has to do it, and that's not all of LA. But that type of idea of a girl that lives in LA, that is very much this character. Like, she does ridiculous retreats, and like she has like 95 religions, but like doesn't really practice any of them appropriately. And like I said, she does drugs a lot. Her best friend doesn't eat at all and does like really insane drugs, and is just like does her own Botox at the table. It's a riot, but their fashion is like still funny, and it's still about shopping and things like that. So I think it's like a funny show if you are looking for a new show to watch that's a little bit about fashion. It's really funny. But yeah, so those are my shows and my inspirations. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and catch me in my next video, which will be on Sunday.